Brooks, and I'm the instruction librarian here at Gordon. I'm here to help you with any research that you need to do. Today, we're working on plagiarism, paraphrasing, and how to use AI in ways that will help you. We often think about the most extreme versions of plagiarism, having generative AI write an entire paper, using Grammarly to rewrite most of your paper, using someone's paper as your own. Most plagiarism is accidental, missing in text citations, not referencing the authors, accepting too many Grammarly suggestions, or not fully paraphrasing their original language. Anytime you use someone's ideas or words, you need to give them proper credit. I like to think about three key questions to determine if I've plagiarized or used AI inappropriately. Have I given proper credit for other people's work, ideas, and words? Do I understand the content that I'm presenting? Does this writing sound like me? For example, if you don't understand the content that you're writing about, then there's likely a chance that you've borrowed too much of the author's language. Or if you've used AI, that you can't evaluate whether the generated summary is accurate. If the writing doesn't sound like you, then there's likely a chance that grammar tools or AI transformed your writing and took out your personal voice. One of the best pieces of advice for avoiding plagiarism is to take brief, bulleted notes and write your papers based on your notes rather than the original text. While this adds an additional step, it can actually make your writing and revision process faster. Let me show you some examples of plagiarized and not plagiarized text. I'm going to be using a peer reviewed study that looks at whether concussions lead to increased burnout in student athletes. We'll be looking at this quote from the conclusion of the research by Barton and Hunard. Although we did not find differences, athletes with a history of concussion and those without, we did find that all athletes' ratings of burnout changed over the course of the season. Let's look at some potential paraphrases. Take a moment to pause the video at the example and decide if it is plagiarized or not plagiarized before listening to my response. This is very clearly plagiarized. While I gave credit to the authors, I used most of their language without using quotation marks. Is this paraphrase plagiarism? This is also plagiarized. Although I did change some of the words to synonyms, the structure is completely identical to the original language. Changing a few words is often a symptom of not understanding the original text. Here is our third paraphrase to evaluate for plagiarism. This is plagiarized for a few reasons. I didn't include the author's names. While this is more transformed than the previous example, it still largely follows the format of the original text with synonyms inserted. And you might have guessed from the format that this was fully AI generated. And AI didn't do a good job. We have two more example paraphrases to evaluate for plagiarism. This is a great paraphrase, but I didn't include where I got this information from. Including the author's names is a great way to avoid plagiarism, but it also increases your credibility. If you can back up your conclusions clearly with several peer-reviewed sources, it makes you more reliable to your audience. This is our final paraphrase to evaluate for plagiarism. This is not plagiarized. I've used my own words, but still credited the authors for their research and conclusions. You'll notice that I did use some of their language that was specific terminology because it would sound strange and unclear to use different wording. Now it's your turn. You'll have two short activities. First, you'll be asked to look at sample paraphrases from the same article to evaluate if they've been plagiarized or not. Then, you'll be asked to evaluate several questions that you could ask AI on whether they would be more helpful or harmful to your learning. This is not a graded assignment. Rather, it asks you to think deeply about what is helpful to you and your learning.
Thanks for watching. And remember, if you need any help, you can always email library@gordon.edu.